Today we are talking about the people who make the magic and the very specific things they do not do when they're in Disney World. You think they're doing Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and eating Mickey bars and buying new pairs of ears every time? No, they're not. Not even close.
In fact, once you've worked here, you see the parks very differently. You know the shortcuts, you see the crowd patterns, and you definitely know better than to pay full price for, well, anything. So buckle up, because today we are breaking down the surprising, the hilarious, and the totally relatable things that cast members don't do in Disney World, even when they're off the clock.
Starting off strong, and to be honest, I did not believe this until I was doing it myself. The cast members, they're not going to Magic Kingdom. We're actually avoiding it at all costs. They don't like the TTC, the Ticket and Transportation Center. It is a lot. It's not just as easy as like parking your car and walking into the Magic Kingdom. You can't do that. You are still an hour away. So you have to park your car in the biggest parking lot in the world, it feels like. And then you have to take a tram or take a decent walk. And then you have to go through security. And then you have to fight with a big crowd of people to try to get on a monorail or a ferry boat. And then you finally get to the 8th. And then you scan in to the Magic Kingdom. And that might not sound like a hassle, especially if you're on your vacation and you're excited. But if you don't have to do it, you don't want to do it. It's annoying. And then on the other hand, a lot of times cast members are actually blocked out of the Magic Kingdom. That little main gate that you get with your cast member status does not always allow you to go into the parks anytime you want, whenever. That's not true. It's never been true, and it's going to continue to be untrue. They're blocked out a lot, especially during busier times. So think holidays, think the summertime. There's a lot of times you can't go to Magic Kingdom. And if you're blocked out from a park, you're most likely blocked out from the Magic Kingdom. And honestly, when cast members are going to the parks, they just want a really chill day. And a lot of times you're not going to find that at Magic Kingdom. Once you're in it, we love it, right? Everyone, it's so much fun. But just like getting there and just trying to relax and be chill and normal, it means that they're probably not going to the Magic Kingdom.
They don't rope drop. No, cast members aren't getting to the parks at rope drop right when they open. It's a very different vibe. This is not a Disney vacation. You work here. You live here. So you don't feel the need to get up and rope drop every time you go to a park. I don't care about rope dropping the most popular rides. If I'm a cast member, when I was a cast member, I was there all the time and I could go ride those rides whenever. I mean, before I had this job at AllEars, I think the last time I rope dropped was on a family vacation back in high school. And that was a long time ago. It's a very different vibe. You don't have to do everything in one day. You can go do one thing and then leave because you live there, which is why a lot of people want to become cast members and why they want to move to Disney World, so that you can do those things all the time.
Cast members also are not trying to eat at the most popular restaurants. It's just, that's on a general basis. They're really not going to Topolino's Terrace all the time. We're on a cast member salary, and it's not terrible, but it's also not going to the most popular restaurants once a week, okay? Like any normal salary, you're not going to go all the time. And on a general basis, you're really not going to go at all. Cinderella's Royal Table, you're probably not going, to be honest. Now, there can be some caveats here, of course. Special occasions, birthdays. If you're on a DCP and you know that you're kind of going towards the end and maybe you have a bucket list, that's when people are going. But traditional cast members that are working day in and day out, they're not on the Disney College program, they're really not going to those popular restaurants all the time. They're also not the ones who are going to be looking at those advanced dining reservations for their meals. They are fly by the seat of your pants. When is your schedule, or when do you get your schedule? When are you working? Maybe we'll go in between. If we can kind of walk up somewhere and it's really like nice and easy, we'll go. And if it's difficult, we're not going to go. We live and work here. It isn't as special as a vacation. It's still fun, still magical, and it's a different kind of special. But it means that we're not beating down the doors to get in to be our guest. Okay? It's just different. It just is.
Cast members don't make a lot of money, so they're not going to be spending it on food in the parks. If you don't know, anyone can bring food into a Disney World park. You can bring your own snacks, bring your own sandwiches. You can bring whatever you want. There are a few rules where, you can't bring something with a strong smell, or something that needs to be reheated, or glass containers like Tupperware. So there's a few rules like that. But for the most part, you don't have to buy food ever at a Disney park. You can bring in your own stuff. You can bring in your own sodas. You can bring in your own sandwiches, whatever you want to keep you full, keep the kids happy, and that way you're not spending as much money. It's a really great tip, and I've done that many times. Really, maybe just breakfast and lunches, and then maybe do dinners, 1 meal per day at a Disney World restaurant. Everything else, bring it yourself. You will save a lot of money, I promise you. Funny story about me, cast member on the Disney College program, very broke, didn't have any money, didn't get paid a lot. I would go into the parks with my refillable popcorn bucket and get a popcorn refill for $3, and that would be my dinner a lot of the times. Yeah, we were balling on a budget. You can do that too. The tips are out there. We have them in other videos. Save your money on food.
Another thing cast members are not doing, they are not buying merchandise at full price. No. 9 times out of 10, they are not going to spend the full price on that merchandise that they are just absolutely in love with. And honestly, most of the time, they're not buying merchandise at all. I can speak from personal experience, and I know the rest of our cast can as well. Especially when you first become a cast member, this is not the rule. You are buying anything that you fall in love with. And then one day you realize, oh my goodness, I don't have money for this. I can't keep doing this. I am giving all of the money that Mickey pays me straight back to Mickey. And that kind of defeats the point of a job sometimes. I mean, not always. I'm obviously spending my money to go to Disney, and I don't work as a cast member anymore. You get what I'm trying to say. When it comes to merchandise, they're almost always buying it at a discount if they buy it at all. So how do they do that though? Like how are they not paying full price? Well, there is a nice little cast member discount that you get. It does fluctuate throughout the year, but typically it's like 10-20%, anywhere within there, especially on older items. Now, there are things that are going to be the exception to that, especially new limited edition things, or even sometimes they'll have like the most random thing that they're like, this isn't included. You're like, okay, whatever, I guess I won't be buying it then, because again, you're not going to buy it at full price. Around the holidays and a little bit after, this is when cast members typically get a 40% off discount. This is kind of the family holiday celebration time. That's what they refer to it as. And it's just a super fun way to kind of say thanks for being a cast member. And also, we know that you need to buy Christmas presents, so you might as well buy them here, right? And they're on sale. Another way that you can avoid paying for things at full price as a cast member is going to Cast Connections. Now, this is one of the biggest perks, honestly, of being a cast member, especially if you're a Disney merch person, just like I am. Cast Connections is this massive warehouse that only cast members can go to in Disney World, and it has so much. It has so much. It's not even just merchandise. You can even go and buy like Uncrustables. You can buy chicken tenders. You can buy a lot of food there. They have groceries. They have a lot of old furniture from hotels as they're flipping things. Like, there is a lot in Cast Connections. You're gonna find ears here, you're gonna find pins, and it is like in bulk. A lot of times it's going to be old merchandise that maybe is for an event that ended, or maybe the merchandise didn't do so well, it didn't sell out. So it's not necessarily going to be the newest, most fancy ears you can find in the parks, but if you really liked those ears and you can kind of tell they're not selling super well, give it a few weeks, few months, and you'll see it pop up in Cast Connection. I bought so many ears just because they were $5. I didn't even like them that much, but they were $5. So like, why wasn't I going to buy them? They were at Cast Connections. I had to buy them. I didn't have to, but I made the choice to. You also can check out things like the Character Warehouse. Now, this is not necessarily a cast member specific spot, but it is one that cast members definitely frequent. Basically has old merch, things that didn't sell well, or things from last season that maybe they didn't quite get rid of. You can actually find a lot of lounge flies, ears. I find a lot of Christmas ornaments there, old pins, things like that. And anyone can go to the Character Warehouse. And then I'm pretty sure on top of that, you can get more discounts on top of already discounted merchandise. So like, you're basically getting stuff for dollars, literal dollars. My Kermit Newemo, he's back there somewhere. All of his outfits I got at the Character Warehouse for $1 because they stopped selling them, but they still had all that merchandise, so they had to get rid of it. So he has a raincoat and a few shirts.
Speaking of discounts, cast members do not use their merch discounts for other people. Let me explain. Cast members do get discounts on merch. It's kind of tricky Number one, cast members don't want to use it on other people. And number two, there are many things like that when you work for the Disney company that you have to be very careful about, because if you misstep a little bit, you might get fired. And merch discounts is one of those things. If I'm a cast member, I can use my merch discount to buy things for me, but you can't hand your company ID to someone else for them to buy merch. The cast member has to be buying it. It has to be with a credit card with the cast member's name on it. They are very particular about it. And the cast members working merchandise need to check and make sure, because they could get in trouble if they let someone else use a merch discount that you're not supposed to use. It's all very particular. Disney has a bunch of rules. With that being said, most of the time, cast members don't even want to let you use their merch discount. I don't know you that well. I'm not buying you a pair of $100 Mickey ears for half off. Yes, cast members have merch discounts. They're not going to use it on you. Sorry.
Another thing cast members aren't doing is they are not staying at Disney World hotels. And honestly, this one's the one that I'm most sad about, because I would love to stay at Disney World hotels all the time. Staycations are so much fun, especially when you work there. It's like a little out of the ordinary experience. But Disney is very expensive. I think we can all agree. Of course, they're always running discounts. They're always doing something. We actually made it our whole job to let you know when they're doing those things. But if you're a cast member, you're still not going to be doing it all the time. It's, again, one of those like very rare and special occasion kind of things. You're just not going to be staying at a Disney World hotel. Even the All-Stars, which can be only a few $100 a night, $100 a night, and sometimes with a good discount, even less, you're just not staying there. Because a lot of times your staycations are also happening in between your shifts, and then it's also just not fun to have to wake up at a Disney resort and then go to work. It's different than waking up and getting to go to a theme park. You just don't feel it. You don't feel the vibes if you wake up to go to a shift. It's not as fun. Now, that being said, this kind of connects back to all of that discount talk. They do oftentimes run a crazy cast member discount on select hotel rooms. Now, that is the caveat to this. If they are not paying full price, they're going to be staying in those Disney hotel rooms. Disney World cast members can actually get crazy discounts on hotel rooms, but it's not all the time. It's not just any hotel of your choosing. Honestly, this is through the Hub Life portal, the Cast Hub Life, and they can get anywhere from, I've literally seen 40 to 70% off hotel rooms. Now, again, that's not all the time. It fluctuates, it rotates. It's not for whatever room that you want. It might only be for All-Star movies one day this year. It's different. Disney drops consistent discounts pretty frequently, but you just kind of have to like grab them when you see them, because they're not always going to be there. So outside of those special occasions or families in town, cast members aren't staying in hotels. I wish we were. It's just not a thing that's happening. And it's sad. And now I want to go stay in a hotel. Do you guys want to go stay with me? I really want to go stay in a Disney hotel.
Another one that you can use on every single Disney trip for the rest of your life: cast members do not wear the wrong park shoes. You find out very quickly when you become a cast member. Depending on your role, you have to get certain shoes. And for me, I was food and beverage, so I had to get specific non-slip shoes to wear to work. I didn't wear my work shoes in the park on an off day, but as a cast member, you are on your feet for hours every single shift. So you know the importance of good shoes, and that also goes for a park day on your day off or when you're on vacation. I mean, it is the one thing that can make or break any Disney day, for me especially, and I know a lot of us on the AllEars team agree with that. If you wear the wrong shoes, you're going to be miserable all day long. If you break in a new pair of shoes at the parks, which is something I would never recommend, you're going to be miserable. If you wear shoes that give you blisters, you're going to be miserable. You're walking around for miles in Disney World. Please wear the right shoes. Oh, I don't care if it messes with the aesthetic of my outfit. I want to be comfortable. I have to last all day in the parks. So I will be wearing comfy shoes, comfy socks. I'll bring an extra pair of socks if my feet get wet so that I can change them out. The right shoes is probably the most important thing you can bring with you to Disney World.
I promise you, cast members are not giving out complimentary tickets to just anyone who asks. And you might think, no, people aren't bothering. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I can speak from personal experience that people you have not spoken to in so long will, at the very least, make like a kind of joke. And they mean it. a little that they really want you to give them free tickets. That is not how tickets work. Cast members aren't going to give them to you. But cast members actually do get complimentary tickets. So we already talked about cast members being able to get into the parks. That is what they call their main gate ticket. That's how they get into the parks. That is the thing that sometimes has blockout dates, but for the most part, it's like an annual pass in a sense. Now, there are two different ways the cast members actually get complimentary tickets. And one is by season. So like once a season, essentially they'll do like a cast member complimentary ticket drop. And those can be used as you wish. Now, the way that I use my tickets most frequently, and a lot of cast members will use them, is they also can grab something called a Chip and Dale ticket. Now, these tickets, they are based on how many hours you've worked. So you're not just gonna sign up and get a whole bunch of tickets to your name. That's not how it works. Now, the Chip and Dale tickets specifically are actually linked to your cast member ID, and they can only be used when you're all together. So you have to be with them when they scan into the parks to prove that, yes, those are the complimentary tickets that you are using with them. You can't just give them to anyone and whenever you want. And they do technically require your permission the entire time they are using those tickets. So those are really the three kinds of free: one for yourself, one for each season, and then the Chip and Dale tickets. These tickets are precious. You literally have to work for them. You don't just get them. You have to do X amount of hours before you can even dream of getting one free ticket that is not your main gate. So you're not just going to give them to whoever. People shouldn't ask, because these are precious. Not just a stranger on the street is going to get these tickets from you. To be honest, I think I gave my Chip and Dale tickets, the only people I gave my Chip and Dale tickets to were my mom, dad, brother, and boyfriend, who then is now my husband. I think you only got 3 at a time, and like I said, you had to work so many hours before you could even get those 3. So I really had to put in a lot of effort to just get my family in the parks with me, which I was gonna do anyways. It's a nice little plus up to the job, but it meant that I wasn't just gonna give it to Amy Jo from high school. If you are not close, I just don't think you should be asking, to be honest. A lot of people will text you and be like, hey, I'm thinking about coming to Orlando. And it's like, that's crazy. I have not heard from you in 7 years. How are you? And why are you letting me know? And then they'll bring up that they're looking for discounted tickets or a way to get them easily. And they're just so curious as to what you have to say. I don't know. It's crazy. And it happens all the time. And you might be thinking, people don't do that. Yes, they do. They really do. And I get it. Tickets are expensive, but that's unfortunately not the cast members' fault. That's kind of the higher ups. That's the execs. Take it up with them. Start sending them texts. If you are close friends with a Disney World executive or a Disney company executive, maybe just you do the groundwork on that, because the cast members in the parks, they can't give this to you, and they can't impact ticket prices, so leave them alone.
I know this one is going to sound crazy, but cast members, they don't go to the parks on their off days, because that's like you if you went to the office on your off day. It's a little different because a cast member's office, is the Magic Kingdom. I'm not going to say that working at Disney World ruins the magic. For some people, that's very true, and they end up not liking the parks anymore and don't want to go. But it does give a different side of things. It's still magical, but it's just not quite the same once you've been on the other side of things. And I feel like that's with any job. You're going to have really bad days. And especially at Disney World, you will have a lot of those. Long hours, a lot of angry guests, managers who maybe aren't the best or don't really remember what it was like to be just the bottom level cast member working. Man. Dims the light of the magic a little bit. I will say that college program cast members are different. I would put them in a different category than full-time and part-time, because with the college program, you might only be there for a semester. You want to take advantage of those benefits while you're working there. Yeah, those kids are going to the parks every single day. If they're not working there, they're going there on a day off. That's a different breed of cast member, which I'm not knocking them. I was one of them. I get it. But once you get to full-time and part-time, those are the cast members that usually are not going to the parks on their day off. You know where they do go? Universal. They go to the other parks because they don't work there. So it still feels like you're a regular guest.
They're also not staying in the parks open to close. Now, I know that's something that honestly not even all vacationers do. I do it when I'm on vacation because I paid to be there and I'm going to be there. But cast members are tired. They are tired. They don't want to do an open to close day on their one day off that week because sometimes you do only get one day off. I know that there was a period where I think it was like almost 2 full weeks before I got my next day off just because of the way things fell. And I was tired. And do you think on that one day off I went to a park? No. And if I had gone to a park, do you think I was going to go open to close? No. A lot of cast members operate like locals. They might go in for an hour, they might leave, but then again, is that even worth it? They really have to decide, like, you're going for a purpose. That's the thing that I think a lot of people really have a hard time computing is like, well, I want to go live at Disney World. And you do, and it's so much fun, but it is not like being on vacation. It's totally different feelings. If you want that new snack, you'll go for the new snack. You'll go for this new snack. When they dropped a bunch of cold brews, I'll go try the coffee. And then I'm gonna go home. I might ride a ride. I might. But honestly, I'm going for one goal. I'm going for one thing, and cast members are doing the same. Unless there's family in town or a friend that they're trying to see, most of the time they're going with a goal in mind. They're not just going for a park day to hopefully do everything. They're gonna be there. Slinky Dog's 120 minutes. They're not gonna ride it. They don't need to do that. They actually live in town, and they can come back later, and they don't have to do it today. So they're just gonna go.
Cast members don't wait more than 30 minutes for a ride. Again, this goes with all the points that we've talked about. When you work there, when you live there, you're not going to wait in a 45-minute line for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. You're going to walk up to the entrance. You're going to say, oh, no, I don't need to do that today, and then turn back around. You live there, you work there, you can go there any day you want. You're not there on vacation. Once I started working at the parks, it almost felt like I never rode the rides ever again. I do feel like that's pretty common for cast members because they're not usually going to the parks as much anymore. They're not spending time in lines. They're not buying Lightning Lane. Absolutely not. If I see something that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sure. It's different. I don't want to stand in line and wait at my place of work and waste my time. I just don't want to do that. That is a great privilege to be able to say, hey, I don't have to ride this today. I can come back. It's one of the reasons that people become cast members. Once again, once you're on the other side of things, you see things differently. I'm not going to wait in this long line. I'm not going to pay to skip the line either. I'm just not going to ride the ride. And I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
If you like this video and you're curious about more Disney secrets, be sure to like, subscribe, hang around.
And put this secret code in the comments below so we know that you stayed and watched the whole thing.
We do stuff like this almost every single day of the week about Disney World, Universal, and all theme parks and beyond. Why? Because we're serious about fun. Bye.
Thanks so much.